Hello, welcome. My name is Obindako. Welcome. I want to share briefly with you 10 things that, or 10 lessons that I picked for the first 10 years as an entrepreneur. 10 lessons that I struggled to pick during the very first 10 years, trying to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is one of the things that is a tool that brings the best in people. It's actually the best tool for self-development. And because of the way we've been conditioned, very few people will ever try to launch out as entrepreneurs right after school. So my story, I think that if I was informed, if I was intelligent, I probably would not have done that. I probably would have gone to become maybe a politician or something like that. The journey is unpredictable, it's chaotic, a lot of mistakes. And by the way, growth comes out of mistakes and growth comes out of pain. And so those who are very intelligent, those who are well informed, when they start, they succeed faster. Those who are well equipped. Some people have that. They are very much intelligent, well equipped because they come from that kind of background. So they seem to succeed faster. They're very intelligent. They make the right choices and the right decisions. Now if you're like me, the only chance you have is just to move. Because if you wait for all the intelligence and all the wisdom that you have to have before you move, because without the wisdom, without the knowledge, without the accuracy, when you move, you're going to go into ditch and roll and roll and roll and bleed before the wisdom comes. So very few people have that. Very few people have the wisdom, the courage, because a lot of the times the people who are very much informed then don't have the courage to even dare to risk. So these are some of the things that I learned in the first 10 years. Somewhere in 2001, we finished college, we did national service, that is Ghana for you. National service, you don't know, they just push you anywhere. If you don't have connection, they will push you anywhere. So it doesn't matter. You're an engineering student, they push you to go and teach. You are something students, they push you, they toss you. So I happen to find myself in a wood processing company. So I did engineering, agricultural engineering. So they trained us for some weeks. They sent us to these areas, and after I didn't want to be in that kind of industry. So after national service, what do? You don't know what to do. So you push yourself. Very confused because usually somebody will hold your hand and take you to some place to say that this is my son, help him to find a job. I didn't have that. So you try things. So we tried some things. Um, Fortunately, when we were in school, they came to teach us about entrepreneurship from NB, SSI, and some other motivators, some other motivational speakers came to teach us. And surprisingly, my mind was not so much on trying to find a job. I don't know. So way back in Kumasi, we just started to do things like that. Then we started to succeed. Then all of a sudden, they said that I should go and get second degree. So usually people will tell you, when are you going back to school? So I food and the little money that I was able to accumulate, I use it for part payment and moved out of the country, which was not a good decision. It was a bad choice, and wasted that money. If it were to be today, I would have kept the money, and probably after these years, I would have been maybe far more successful and far more equipped and far more maybe daring, because I would have started with a very big capital, or I would have injected a lot of capital into that based on what we were able to accumulate. So my first lesson is that if you're Ghanaian, Ghanaians are very much conservative, they say, and they're very much, they don't like taking risk, especially if you're Ghanaian and you went to school. We don't like taking risk. We want to find all the answers before we move. And for me, that is what prevents a lot of the people who have some sort of certificate it prevents them from entering into business. because they're so much intelligent, they want to have every detail. They want actually to be told which step to take at every point, and it doesn't work like that. And that's why if you look at a lot of our entrepreneurs, a lot of our business people, most of them don't have high level education, so to say, in terms of the classroom kind of education. Why? Because naturally we want to make sure that we don't make mistakes. And depending on the background that you come from, if you really want to move, if you really want to set the thing in motion, then you have to move. So I am not of the opinion that do this analysis, and you don't move. I am of the opinion that just move a little, just move anyway, anyhow, just try something, because you're going to fail anyway, you're going to make the mistakes anyway, and you're going to learn. So just start little, whatever that you want to do, just start little. A lot of people have enough information to start. Now that a lot of people have been, made to go, they've been told to go home, or the business is not, the companies that they work for are struggling, they can't, some of them are still at home. If you're thinking of starting a business, don't be scared of the mistakes that you're going to make. Just start little. Don't put everything in it. Start little. Test the idea. It's not the capital that you need to start the business. It's the idea that you need to test to make sure that this idea works. And a lot of the times, you don't need a lot of brilliant, unique, unfound kind of idea. Just look around and see what people are buying, and just start from there. Because a lot of the times, your first business will even help you to raise the kind of money that you can use for the next business. But when you start, then your mind starts to open, then your eyes start to open, then you start to see, then you start to understand what it takes to take risk, because there's a lot that you're going to go through. So if you're Ghanaian, those of us who are from Ghana, my advice is that just start something. Just start. It's the best way to get to set the whole process into motion. If you continue to think, because a lot of people also get so much data that they become saturated. They are always looking for data. So it's good to read, it's good to study, it's good to do all those, continue to get a lot of information, ask questions. But if you have done that for the last 5 years and you have not moved, that is not the way. Entrepreneurship is about doing, it's about starting. So my first lesson is that just start something. If you've been at home for 7 years, 8 years, 4 years, 3 years, if they have told you to go home and you don't know what to do from the next, just start anything. Start to sell water on the table. Not so much. Start to give some services to some people. What is your expertise? Make some calls. That is how. Just let it. Don't worry about getting money, setting the office, buying car, getting a nice phone, branding. Those things will come later. Your first point is to let it roll. And that's why I think most people don't find it well. So that's my first lesson. Just start something. And don't worry about the mistakes. You are going to make them anyway. All of us will make them. So if you're looking at where not to fail, then you're not cut for it. Then you don't understand it. If you have nothing, you have no connection, you have no father to help you, mother to help you, nobody to introduce to anybody, nobody to give you any contract, then just start something. Sell something, especially. Look at the kind of economy we have. Just do anything. Is it the internet? Is it a business that you can do over the internet? Is it a business that you can do through the agricultural value chain? Is it the broad retail business that you can do? What is it? What expertise that you have? Just start something. And start with as little as possible, because you're going to learn. The moment you're able to figure it out, then you can start to look for money to put in. But don't go and borrow money and put it in something that you don't understand. You have no network, you don't have the market, you don't know the price, and you just go and look for big money to say, I want to start that. That for me is a problem. So my first point is that start. The second point is test the idea. Test the idea. Test it. Whatever comes to your head, test something. You want to start to sew clothes for people, test it. You want to start to sell egg, test it. Water, test it. You want to start, rice business, just test it. I am not so much for people who have never done business trying to go and invest businesses that require a lot of capital, because you're going to learn the skill. To even just manage people is another problem in our country. The money, a lot of people will trick you. So start first. Some people say that they want to start poultry farm. If you have never done a business before, why don't you start maybe selling the chicken or selling the eggs first? To understand who will demand the product, create the demand first before you go into production or anything that will require a lot of money. Because that's where the lessons will come from. If you go and take people's money and put it in a big project that you're not seeing money, there will be challenges for you. And that's why people start to quit and say that business is very tough. Yes, it's tough, but there are a lot of mistakes that we can reduce if we test the idea. So start, test the idea, go to the market, see what people want, and start from there. Your first business is likely that it's not going to be the business that you're going to even succeed in. But because it's a process that must start. So once you start to learn, then you will, the next thing is that you have to learn how to formalize the business. A lot of us, some people have done business for 10 years and they've not been able to formalize it. Some people don't even register it at all. They have no website for it. They have no bank accounts for it. Once the business starts to work, think of something. Maybe register it as a limited liability company, or maybe register it as an enterprise. Get something and open an account for it to help you. The RS and the other people will come later. But at least, because it makes you organized. Okay, and the next thing is that at least get a place that you call an office, and even if it's your bedroom, you have sitting room, no problem. Put a table there, put some computer there, and make sure that you organize. Work like it's organized. Maybe you create some business card or something, create Facebook page, create Instagram page, make it organized. It is very good because then you start to think as a business person. Be proud of that idea. If the moment the idea starts to work, be proud of it. Package yourself well. Be confident of it. Because without your confidence in that idea, you're going to give up. And so my third point is that make sure you formalize the idea. Formalize your environment. Organize yourself. Create a folder on your laptop. Create a letterhead or something. Create an Excel sheet. Every money that goes out, maybe write it in your diary. Tally it at the end of the month. Organize. It's okay. Organize is okay. So the next one, this is the third one. So I'm saying that organize. And the moment the idea starts to work, maybe the organizations that regulate you, join them. You have to position yourself that this is what I want to do, and I'm not just testing this. Some people have done businesses, they have had a lot of revenue, but they are still not committed to that business. That's why the business does not grow. So be proud of it. The moment somebody, let's say you open a provision shop and it's working, formalize it well. Get some papers together. Put name on the business. Make it business. Get somebody to help you. Because it's the idea. The business will never move until the person who is leading the business, who is promoting the business, moves. And that one nobody can help you with. You have to think big of this idea that is working, formalize it. Even if it's a cocoa farm, if it's orange farm, if it's cassava farm that you're doing, formalize it. Take pictures, put it on your page, formalize it. You don't know who is going to look at it. Tally it, document it. It's so key. Do a profile for your business. I remember some of my businesses, I would sit down and draw the profile and I didn't know where the business was going. And some years afterwards, I look at the profile that I printed and I'm like, wow. A website that I wrote down. After I had gone through several websites, later I found out that I actually came back to the original one, which was that accurate and simple. So write ideas that come to your head, write them, formalize them. If it's a business that you want to do, formalize them. The next one will be, you have to be 100% committed to this business. You're going to meet a lot of con men. You're going to meet a lot of people who screw you, who lie to you. So if you're not committed to this, you will give up. Right? Because it's going to take you, if you're able to see your way through in the first 3 years, then you're a genius. A lot of us will not see our way through. Even the first 5 years, will not see our way through. So that's what I'm saying. The 10 things that I learned, the 10 lessons that I learned, 10 lessons that I learned, among the various that I learned, the 10 that I've learned in the first 10 years, because it's going to take you that much time. So if you're not patient, you will give up. And they will trick you, they will lie to you, they will cheat you, they will take your money. It's part of the game because you are starting to do something that you don't know. Can you imagine the first 10 years that you started to go to school, from primary or from nursery to primary 6 or to JSS? Uh, there are a lot of mistakes that you will make because that's school. There are tests that will fail. You will disappoint your teachers. Sometimes you go to school late, It's all part of it. The same with entrepreneurship. It's the whole school that you're going to learn. So the first 10 years, you have to be really committed to it because you meet a lot of challenges and a lot of problems. So the other thing is that the fifth one, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one is that look for good people, look for good team. Good team is especially if you don't want to have partners, that's no problem, because if you want to have partners, you must make sure that you are also a partner. You have what it takes to be a partner. Most people don't have what it takes to be a partner. Most people don't have any idea what it takes to be a business partner, because they are inward, they are jealous, they are not confident, they keep things to themselves. If you have those tendencies, you don't have to have a partner with you. You have to just employ people to work with you. And I dare say that generally most of our people don't have the skill set to form partnership with anybody, not even their wives, because they don't have the stamina. They don't have the basic requirements for. But the business is the best if you have the best of partners. If you have the best of people in terms of character and skill set, the business will go faster because they bring in a whole network, and you also bring in a whole network. And once both networks or all the people involved in the business, your networks, is an asset to the business. If you're alone, it's only your network, and there are pressures from everywhere. So if you have that, if you have what it takes to build a team, then you have a great asset. But to identify who to get on board with you, that's where the challenge is, because most of our people, even if they've been to school, a lot of people don't study it. A lot of people don't read. A lot of people's content is just coming from the culture, from the country. Go to social media and see the things that we are bothered with largely as Africans: the politics, the religion, the culture, the sports, the entertainment. When it comes to productivity, when it comes to creation, development, innovation, a lot of our contents are limited. So most people don't develop themselves at all. So when you pick somebody like that to be your partner, for you to work with somebody and build a business that will be successful, you cannot use this kind of content, where the content is just coming from sports and entertainment and religion and quotation and then politics. Those kind of things cannot build a very strong culture that can sustain a partnership. So I dare say that most people don't have what it takes to become partners and to work productively. They have to re-educate, they have to reprogram themselves for them to become very good partners. So maybe you would have to start as a loner, but the best of it is getting the best partners to go into business with. And I dare say that most people don't have that. And so it can also be a dragging force on you if you pick a wrong person to partner with you. Then you delay, you stagnate, because you are running and the person is sitting. You are not going anywhere. You are authentic, you're open, and the person is trying to hide. So you must find that. But a lot of and you will get a lot of promises from from all kind of people. Be careful with people, especially those in their 50s and 60s, who are always trying to tell you they have been in business and always they're hungry. You see them with portfolio moving from everywhere. Everybody that you mention their name, they know them. Those guys are crooks. A lot of them are crooks. They have no work ethics. They have no honesty. If they lead you any office, before you go there, they would have said something different. These are some of the things that I learned in a hard way, where you would see somebody, he talks like he knows everybody, and yet he's hungry. And if somebody is 60 and he's telling you he's hungry and he's carrying this portfolio and working everywhere, if he's leading you anywhere, watch where. A lot of the times they are crooks. A lot of the times they are crafty. A lot of the times they know what they're doing. They read you, they will extort money from you, they will take advantage of you. And if you try to fight back, they will threaten you, they will fight you. If they have to use whatever connections that they have to crush you, they will do that. And a lot of them are many. We have a lot of them out there. So if you start business as an entrepreneur, if you start, watch out for this. It's risk that you're taking. Business is about risk. Entrepreneurship is about risk. But there are some risks that you don't need to take. There are risks that you can really stop. and there are those that will come naturally. For instance, if a child starts to walk, they will fall because it's part of the process. That those no, when the child falls, they are not killed by the falling. But if something from the top hits the child, it's not part of the process of falling. That is unnatural to the process. And some processes in the journey are not natural, especially when you connect so much with crooks and con men and people who talk too much. So watch out for that, because they can cause a lot of damages, a lot of problems to you. So that is the number 5. So look for good people to work with. The next one is that train. Constantly train. Read books, study. Acquire knowledge, apply. Acquire the knowledge, apply. It's a constant journey of learning. That's how you're going to go through. And don't only learn alone. Don't learn alone. Don't train alone. You have to also master the skill to train people. So if you work with somebody, even if they cannot read, train them. If you pick anybody to work with you, whether it's a security officer, a security person, or a salesperson, or anybody who gives you help, anybody who is connected with your business, train them. You have to train them on how they have to work hard, their work ethics. You have to train them to be honest. You have to train them to be committed to the work. You have to recondition them, because most of our people don't know how to work, especially when they are working with you. Most of our people are self-sufficient, are subsistent. They can work for themselves to a certain limit. But if the moment they come to work with somebody, a lot of the time they don't show up to get results. A lot of the times they show up so that they can get salary. That's why they came. If they had money, they will quit the job. That's why a lot of people quit the job. That's why a lot of people have no value for the work that they have. Why? Because they've not been taught how to work well in a company, and it's rampant. So you have to pick people, never give up on them, but you have to train them and be prepared for a lot of disappointment from people if you start to work with people. Be prepared for a lot of disappointment. But then once in a while, you get somebody who will represent thousands of the people. But if you don't commit to training, you have to commit to training yourself and training people who come to work with you. It's okay, or you give up. And if you're going to do business, don't just work alone. You have to up your skill of how to get people to work with you and lead them and manage the process and manage the people as well. So my 6th point is that train yourself, train everybody who connects with you. It's so key. The next one is that take care of your finances. Study the money. A lot of us don't have data on the right decisions that we have to run business purely. Your business that you're building, if you mess up with the finances, you're messing up with everything. So study the money, make right decisions with the money, preserve the money, don't lose it. Loans start out of high interest, you don't need them. If you're going to buy a car to start that business and it's not transport business, you don't need it. Start small. Preserve the money, don't waste the money. Always think twice before you waste the money. And don't be so much ambitious. Some of us, you would want to go and start construction company. So they get you the project, you pay bribe. You pay bribe. Then when they have given you the project, you go to bank to take loan, 5% a month. You will crash. Sometimes those kind of crashes can keep you under for 5 years or 10 years, because your intelligence in finance was that wrong. So study money. It's so key. It's so key. Preserve the money. Track every money that goes out. Track every money that comes in. There. And it is as much as you can. Once the business starts to work, don't depend on one source of revenue. Start to look at other sources. And don't depend on one client. Don't beg anybody. A lot of us, we want to build business, but then we are always begging somebody. That's danger for your business. Entrepreneurship is about freedom. It's about risk. So don't let nobody control your sources of revenue. If they control your sources of revenue, they have you. If they control your money, they control everything that your business is about. So make sure you build a business that not one person can take total control of how your business goes in terms of finances. It's okay. Don't make that mistake. No matter how big the contract is, if they are no good people, they are thinking. If they are Ghanaians, they give you the contract. If you don't go and thank them, as they call it, next time they are calling somebody else. So build a good business where you are not dependent on one person. When somebody will just say, yeah, I will show you where power lies, I will make sure that you go hungry. Don't build business around that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So study the money, read about it well. And any money that you get, and always know that you are going to spend more than you expect. And the payment that you're expecting to come in will not come in as you expect it. Sometimes, a lot of the times, you are expecting the money to be paid in 2 months. I tell you, it will take 5 years, 4 months, 6 months. So a lot of the times, people give promises and say, "Oh, come, the check will be ready." Forget it. So always know that it will take double the time that they promise to pay you, and it will take double the amount that you think you're going to spend. So give wide range so that you don't frustrate yourself so much. Study the money. Study the money. The next one, and watch loans. Watch loans. Any loan that is more than 2% a month will destroy your business. Will destroy you, to stagnate you. You work and you don't know where the hours have gone. One thing about a business that struggles is that you waste money and you waste resources. Before you see it, you have pushed 10 years in that business and you don't see any progress because you focus so much on errors. So watch the loans. Watch the loans. If I were the president, I would shut a lot of these banks that give this 5% a month kind of loan. You are killing entrepreneurship, right? You are killing people because nobody is that intelligent to work and get 60% to pay you in a year and still make profit and pay all the other ones. So it's not starter. If you give me that, and a lot of our mistakes, as an entrepreneur, a lot of my mistakes came from there, where we will look at the project and we do our mathematics and we think that we're going to make profit, forgetting that we borrowed money and we didn't have to depend on that. The next one is constantly. Sorry. And the other one is constantly read, constantly study, constantly read books, study. The mind that you have is the best asset that you have. If you're not reading, there will be trouble. Constantly read, constantly. Go to YouTube, is the best of university at the moment. A lot of data there. Constantly study. Read, stretch your mind. Ask questions. Connect with people who are daring, who are into entrepreneurship. Well, our generation must build something far bigger than ourselves. So get the best of knowledge. Read it constantly. Challenge yourself. Don't trust this knowledge that we have here. You can build anything. A lot of our people are so much comfortable with their ignorance. Our people are comfortable with their ignorance. They don't challenge themselves. A lot of our people read books on anything. That's a problem. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you must read, study. And I'm not talking about reading Bible alone. No, I'm talking about reading the things that you need to read to make sure that you are stabilized. Because it's a tough journey. Can you imagine you're a doctor and you don't read the journals? You don't read anything about medicine. You'll be a cake. And surprisingly, we have a lot of doctors who don't read anything. We have a lot of engineers who don't read anything. We have a lot of politicians who don't read anything. We have a lot of chiefs who don't read nothing. They just believe their natural head. And that's why our development is that slow, because we're going to grow, we want to develop, we are going to grow and develop directly, proportionally to the amount of information that we have. And I dare say that we don't begin with much information. So you have to read, search, go and read. A lot of the books are from America. At least our people are not writing that much, but read, stretch your mind. Stretch your mind, read. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, stretch. This is a big lesson. For me, if there is one key component that has kept us going, in spite of all the opposition and all the mistakes and all the errors, is the reading. It's a reading. It's reading. It's reading. It's reading. It's steady. Listening to talks, listening to the best in the game, listening, studying. That is how you keep your head up in this journey. Because you're going to hear a lot of things. Your parents will tell you, stop this, it's not working. Your friends will tell you, stop this, it's not working. If you're married, maybe your husband or your wife will tell you, it's not working, stop it. Sometimes they'll even go and bring people to come and advise you because you're crazy. So if you don't read, you don't study, you can't go after this. You give up. That's why you see somebody's doing business and he feels frustrated. He feels like, I've given so much and I don't see anything. The moment you start to make those comments, it's not the journey that is frustrating. It's your strength that is weak. And I'm talking of inner strength. And that inner strength, you build it by getting a lot of proper information, so that you understand the journey and you understand what goes on, what the things that you're going to meet. You understand the product that you're in, the kind of business that you're in, the finances that you're in, how to train people, how to pick the right people, how to set the goals, and how to build the structures around the business. These things, if you're not reading, you will give up. You will give up. That's why a lot of our people, it's just contract business that we have. Contract. You don't need to be intelligent to supply ECG with what is the name? With meters. No, just sign contract. You go and talk, pay something. They give you contract. Go and look for suppliers and send them. That's what it is. I'm talking of the business that you're building a product or an idea, building a process on the market, training people to work with, building maybe some piece of technology somewhere. That one calls for a lot of strength and a lot of studying and a lot of skill. And if you don't study, then you'll be screwed. You'll give up. You feel frustrated. You feel shortchanged. So study, read every day, challenge your thoughts, challenge your mind, challenge your thoughts, challenge your mind. Constantly be the best at what you do. Entrepreneurship is a journey, it's a skill, it's a craft. You have to constantly train. You see, a boxer is always training. Entrepreneur is the same like that. So read the best. You have to become a lot of things for the business to work. Most people are just one of them. And that's why the business is not working. And the other thing is that you have to be much open-minded. If things don't work, don't attribute those things to any demon or witchcraft. A lot of our people are like that. No, be open-minded. Look at the systems well. Look at the structure well. Look at how you make the decisions. Look at those well. Be open-minded. And you've got to be, being open-minded also means that you have to know what it takes to build a business, and you have to be a person who is solid in character and in honesty. You need that. If you didn't begin with that, you have to rebuild that. If you don't build that, then you've got to lie your way throughout to succeed. And anytime that they cut the lie, or you are caught with the lies, then your business is no more. But if you're able to build a business that is resident or that is resting on your character, you have got to let people believe you. You have got to let people take your word for it. You have got to let people know that you're a good person. You're not cruel. You have the best of people at heart. These are the things that you need for you to work and go through, because it's going to be tough. And that one is true. So my first 10 years, we've been through a lot of craziness. But it's been fun. It's fantastic. I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't change it for anything. The next 10 years, same. And we've been through this. We've been through this. It's been more than 14 years now. But we've been through it. It's journey. You continue to stretch. But stay out of trouble. Stay out of the greed. Stay out of the connections. Stay out of the lies. Focus on the best of decisions that you can make. Make sure that you build the best of team. And make sure that you're happy with what you're doing. And make sure that you follow the money as well. So my name is Obendako. I have to recap. And so I was talking about 10 lessons that I've learned in 10 years. As a matter of fact, we started our journey in 2003 or so. Then we stopped, went to school. We came back, it was not picking. And all kind of meetings and all kind of people came in. Some went, other people. There will be a lot of disappointment. There will be a lot of trouble. But test the idea. That's the first one that I said. Just start. I said I just start. Whatever idea that you have, just start and test the idea. Don't keep analyzing. If you play business, you're going to make mistakes anyway. The third one is formalize. Get an office. Put your table there. Write the things that come to you. Get a page for it. Create a demand. Make sure the business is needed. It's solving a problem, not just the money. And the next one is that be 100% committed to this business. 100% committed to this. If you are not committed, nobody's going to be committed to it. So you have to be. People will talk you out, don't listen. And continue to adapt, And the next one is look for the best of team. If you're not a good person who can take a partner, then at least look for a best of team. If you're looking for a startup in our country, a lot of people, graduates especially, don't want to work for companies that are not known. They want to work for the big companies. So you have to, if you're recruiting somebody, look for the psyche. Don't look for the lazy ones. I don't even look for those who have been pampered. Look for the ones who have struggled a bit and who are grateful and thankful. Look for those kind of traits in people and make sure that you pick people who are straightforward and honest. A lot of them are not honest. You will have to train them on this. You have to train them on this. And the next one is train. Constantly train yourself. Constantly train yourself, and train the people. Train whoever works with you. That's how you survive. And take care of the money. Don't waste the money. Don't waste it. You start to see money, don't go and buy a big car with it. Our country, we are destroying the youth. The other day I saw a lady who said that she's bought a Jeep or something on the news. Like, why do you show us her car and we don't know what she does? We don't know the source of her income. Why are you destroying the youth? So when the youth come to work with you, that's why they only think of money. What makes you think that a boy would wake up and say, I want to do sakawa, I want to go and kill somebody to get money? It's backward, it's uncouth, it's unthinkable. And yet we have this generation doing that because of lack of training. So when they come to work with you, they are coming with a lot of misinformation. You have to uh, help them to think straight. A lot of people don't think normal. So you have to help them to understand themselves and understand life and maybe understand the business and help them to scale up so that they can be organized at a personal level and they can be committed to the cause at hand. The next one is constantly, I said, read books. Read. If you don't like reading, challenge your thoughts, challenge your mind. Pick a book, train yourself. There is a lot of data on the internet to read. Go to Kindle, download books. That's where you should spend your money as an entrepreneur. The best form of investment is the one that you're doing. You're investing, the ones that you're investing in yourself. That's the best of investment as an entrepreneur because that one stays with you. Everything that I know stays with me. It's the best form of investment. Then the last one is be open-minded. Be open-minded. Challenge your thoughts. And don't accuse any demon and spiritualism. A lot of them are just logic, good decisions. A lot of them. If you're a good person, you're honest, you're straightforward, you're hardworking, you're respectful, you'll succeed. You'll succeed. If you're patient, you'll succeed. No matter what. I don't think all the failures that we meet in this process is just part of the process. Especially the ones that we were doing that are genuine. But if you go to sell cocaine and they catch you, that is not a mistake that you needed. But if you make a serious error, and that is part of the journey, that's not a character compromise. It's part of the journey. You will become wiser. You become wiser. Next time you will see what not to do. So thank you very much for taking your time to watch. Thank you very much.